Hi, I'm Gibson and Roxana Mehran here with your second snack from ESC 2025, and we're talking about valve disease, Roxana, in the cath lab all the time, pre-TAVR angio. There's a lot of cases. What do the guidelines now say? Do we need to keep doing that?
No, in the patients where you have a low probability, you could do a CCTA. And
So that's new.
That's new. Very, very new when the pretest probability is less. And you don't really need to do another angiography, especially, I think this is pretty good in some ways. And CCTA making a class 1 recommendation there, I think it's fantastic.
Now, the other thing that comes up, you're in the cath lab, you do that angio, and then you find a 60-70% stenosis. What do you do?
Well, I don't think that you need to do anything. It depends. Greater than 90%.
That's the
now,
new thing, is 90%.
New thing, you have to do it. But less than 70%, you need to. You don't get to do your routine PCI on those patients.
Right.
Absolutely not. And I think that's really, really good.
The other addition is if you're having SAVI and you have AFib. Closing that left atrial appendage is now recommended.
So surgical closure, class 1A.
Class 1A.
That's
look at
really good.
The reduction in endpoints was 33% with that in the study, and that looked at that. So that's a good change.
So if you're undergoing valve surgery, you should close the left atrial appendage, but also still give oral anticoagulants.
Yes.
That's kind of interesting, especially in AFib patients. So that's
because
a big
that's
one.
how it was studied in the trial.
That's right.
Now, what about deciding on TAVI versus SAVI based on age? What do we now say?
So I think that was a big deal because the earlier guidelines really said you got to be over 70, and now I think it's really nice to see for 2 indications for TAVI, recommended class 1A in patients over the age of 70. That's absolutely very important, those with the tricuspid aortic valve stenosis. But what's really, really important, that for less than age of 70, SAVR is recommended for class 1, but for SAVR and TAVR, they're basically the same for the other indications as class 1. So it's really, really important to have that.
And the early TAVR trial, talk to us about giving a nod there.
I was totally shook by this, and I'm really glad to see that. First of all, the early TAVR study had a lot of questions about it, and people were like, is this? But the problem was that in that trial, if you left these severe aortic stenosis who were asymptomatic on a stress test, when they came in when they needed the aortic valve replaced, they came in with these acute valve syndromes. So I think this is a very, very big thing, and it means to me that we need to get out there